Aloha, welcome back to Aina Bear Farm. As you can probably see here, we finally got some rain. Zoom out on this Satsuma tangerine, loaded with fruit. Citrus are pretty quick fruit producers. This has only been in the ground for a couple of years. Well, actually closer to 3 years, I guess, but already making quite a bit of fruit and pretty good quality. So, if you've been keeping track of the channel lately, you know that we were in a severe drought situation for a couple of months. And the last couple of days, we have finally gotten some rain. Nice to see things kind of greening back up again. The downside though is this guinea grass has literally grown a foot in 2 days. So a little bit of a catch-22 with the rain. But from, let's see, in the months of in the months of August and September, we got less than an inch of rain in 2 months. And in the last 2 days, as my very scientific bucket here demonstrates, we've gotten about 3 inches in the last 2 days. So more than 3 times as much rain in 1 day compared to what we had previously gotten in 2 months. And that's how it goes here. You can see a lot of the perennial peanut is really starting to yellow out. This is with me watering somewhat regularly. I would say the larger fruit trees got it deep watering every couple of weeks. The areas like this with the perennial peanut, I would use the rainbow sprinkler maybe once a week, run it for like an hour just to kind of get that spread around. Avocado is looking good, getting so big. So yeah, let's just have a little look around and see what's going on now that we've gotten a little bit of rain. One of the amazing things that's hard to describe is the difference in the smell. You know, when it's dry, it's like there almost isn't a smell out here at all. And now you can see all the chop and drop there. The moisture is just bringing out that damp forest goodness. I mean, to me, I just equate that smell with life, like vitality, you know. Here we are underneath a Rollinia tree. It's already shooting out tons of happy new leaves. These things are pretty water hungry. So it's very hard to manage trees like this during a drought. If you don't keep watering and watering, they start dropping a lot of leaves. Speaking of which, let's go check on the jackfruit. I've shown this tree in a previous video just to demonstrate what happens when things dry out. These are all leaves from this dwarf jackfruit tree that started dropping when things got too dry. So like here's an example of a nice big leaf that just pops right off and becomes mulch. Now you can also maybe see like a couple of little scars here on the trunk. We lost some entire branches, and so I just pruned those back. I don't know, we'll see how it comes back. I mean, this is somewhat common during the dry season for it to thin out. And of course, it's common for any tree to lose some of its branches, some of the weaker ones, as it matures. But it's got kind of a weird shape right now. It's very top heavy, particularly for a dwarf tree. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe needs some pruning of some kind, but still waiting on the first fruits on this guy too to kind of get a better sense of how it's going to distribute the weight of the jackfruit. I mean, it's dwarf, it's the Zemon pink, which tend to be under 10 pounds, so it's not like the giant jackfruits, but I can't wait for this to leaf back out. You can see the little green shoots at the ends of the branches here, so hopefully it won't be long. And this thing will be nice and full again. It's really looking kind of sad right now. Some of the trees, like this Ma'afala ulu tree, breadfruit, it really didn't seem to mind the drought much at all. I think part of that is its maturity. It's big enough, it's got a big enough root system to pull water from a large area. And of course we did water it supplementally, but we did that with a lot of trees, and the other ones didn't fare as well as this one. This one was really just kind of championed right through it, no problem. And now with the rains coming back, we should see a lot of new growth on this as well. There's a few trees like this mango that actually seemed to prefer the drought in certain ways. You know, this is a Raposa variety. We're not doing much pruning on this one because we actually want to let it get a little bigger, make some shade up here in this area. It's kind of like a hangout area below here, and like a little shade. And if it was putting on fruit, maybe it would be a different story. But during the drought, this thing just cranked out all that new growth, all that bright green that you see, and just seems happy as can be. So I think mangoes are definitely good for this area where we have a distinct dry season. One of my favorite support trees here is the ice cream bean. And one of the many reasons I like it so much is that you can see up in the upper branches, almost completely defoliated through this drought. But what is already happening, if you look very close, and what will continue to happen, is that this thing will leaf back out so fast, it's unreal. A couple of weeks and it'll be full and, you know, nice and green, lush looking. And in the meantime, all that leaf litter that falls provides mulch and starts to kind of suppress weeds underneath it. A little hard to tell with the grass right now, but once we kind of manage this grass a little bit, get that shade, get the leaf litter built up, you start to develop a nice forest floor under these ice cream beans, because they just pump out so many leaves and drop them and then repeat over and over and over. Somewhat similar to the ice cream bean are the bananas, which we use both as food producers and as support trees. This little clump is more of a support where we cut these down and feed them. In this case, mostly to this white sapote. It's hiding back here. But you can see banana is pretty susceptible to drought. A lot of their leaves droop. And see, I come and prune these regularly. So this is all this dead leaf material. It happens pretty quick. I mean, that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dead leaves. They're probably within a couple of weeks, and you can see more yellowing up there. But the good thing is that they'll hang on. They'll just slow down, maybe look a little more sad. Eventually, if you're letting that clump create a rack of bananas, you may not get as many bananas or as high quality, but for support trees, pretty good. They'll hang on, and then as soon as the rain comes back, they'll bounce right back. This is probably the worst casualty of our drought. This is a Kaimito or star apple tree that was doing so well before the drought. Part of it is still doing okay, but you can see we lost this entire nice branch. And this is a somewhat slow growing tree, so really sad to see this whole section lost. And then obviously we'll have to prune that out and really kind of throw off the balance of the tree and the shape. So hopefully once we prune it, we'll get some new growth in that area to kind of rebalance it back out. Just not much we could do, but you know, we learn from it. Just keep adding organic material to the soil, keep these, you know, tropical water-loving trees well watered during the drought the best we can, and then from there we just roll with it. All right, well, sun's coming up, at least for now. We're expecting a lot more rain this week, so hopefully the land is prepared to soak it up and hold it. All the work that we've done to build on contour, to put in all these trees and plants that will hold water, to add organic material to the soil, all of that, so that we can really take advantage of the rain when it comes. I feel like every time we go through one of these droughts, we learn something new, and that is really important. We're definitely going to upgrade our watering system. Still don't think we can do like full irrigation out here just because of the way that things are designed, but I don't think we really need to. The forest is starting to close its canopy more, create more organic material on its own, and build all that water retention capability in the soil. So I think that we're going to be okay, but I do think we can create a setup where I can more easily move around to spot water things when I need to, and then kind of break it up and not have to do it all at once maybe. And the other things is just that during the dry season, there's certain things that are really good to get done, and certain things that are not good. Don't plant during the dry season. Seems pretty obvious, but I've made that mistake. You know, you just get impatient, but then it just creates so much maintenance for yourself. You have to really baby those things and water them almost every day sometimes in certain cases. So that's not the best activity to do during the dry season. We did a lot of pruning, trying to add more organic material to the soil, just a lot of cleanup in general, cutting back things like the grass, just general management, and also just a lot of brainstorming around how we can lower the maintenance, and then getting ready for the wet season to come, growing seedlings, collecting seeds, clearing new areas to plant. And then now it's here, we gotta get back to the business of expanding and creating and all that. And now we've got all this lush green grass to cut to use as more mulch. So we will get on it. Happy sunrise. Good morning to everybody out there. Hope everybody's well. Thanks for joining us again here at Ina Bear Farm, and we will see you next time. Aloha.